Hi everybody, welcome to my channel NarcShield. My name is Jennifer and I have a low battery, so let's fix that. I am not going to stop this. I have been having lots of technical difficulties, power going out, all kinds of stuff happening. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this video. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you will subscribe to my channel. I hope you will like my videos and I hope you will share them so that we can get awareness out about narcissistic abuse. There's lots of channels, so I know you have lots of them that you can choose, and I do appreciate you coming to mine. So tonight I want to talk to you about projection, and I'm going to try to keep it short, but projection is something that we all do, and narcissistic people do it all the time. So we tend to project things out onto people that we may be like, well, I understand. I mean, you know, like when I'm working really hard, I get really stressed too. And so I know that, you know, he's probably been really stressed, and that's, you know, why he's been out of sorts and treating me the way he has lately. And, you know, if I didn't nag all the time, now that is gaslighting yourself. If I didn't nag all the time, maybe he wouldn't have went off on me, or wouldn't have walked out on me, or wouldn't give me the silent treatment, whatever it is that, you know, you're saying. But because you are an empathic person, one, you're giving them grace by giving them an excuse, but you are projecting out onto that person how you would be, because that's you. And so because that's how you would be, well, why would anybody else do something for any other reason? Why would they just do those things? Why would they hurt you on purpose? Why would they hurt you, period, and not take any accountability and responsibility and do anything to change those behaviors for good? Not for just the moment, but for good. And you're such a good person. And so you're full of hope and grace, and you pass that on to other people, even when they're not very nice. You're so forgiving. And a narcissist loves people that are like this. They do. They love that. They need people like this, and they need to control people like this. And so the way that they do it is by trauma bonding you to them. Now, do they know that's what they're doing? Not necessarily, because most narcissists are unaware narcissists, and they don't know why they do certain things. They may know that they're different. They may know that they have interpersonal relationship issues, but they don't necessarily know why. And their narcissism will not allow them to take accountability and responsibility for what they do. They need to blame other people. They project all their gross, ugly stuff out on to the people that are closest to them. And so you have to be a liar, because they lie. They know that they lie. They know that they steal. They know that they cheat. They know they do these things. So everybody else must be the same way. And so they don't trust you. They don't trust anybody. Unfortunately, and I do kind of want to throw this little note in there, unfortunately, if you are in a relationship for a long enough period of time, you will begin to not trust. And unfortunately, when it's time to move on and move into other relationships, they have stolen that from you, a piece of you that was trusting and loving and caring in that way, where you saw the best in people. And now, unfortunately, you are looking for these traits to make sure that you don't get into another relationship like that. I'll talk about that in another video, but I want you to know I do understand. And so the narcissist projects all this ugly stuff out onto you. They want you to be unstable. They don't want you to be so unstable that you don't work for them, and they don't want you to necessarily leave unless they are ready to move on. and they have found someone else to replace you. This is if you're in a romantic relationship. It could be even in a business, and they found somebody else they want to replace you with and fire you and make you move on. So sometimes they will do things so bad to get you to be the one who leaves them, so that they can play the victim and be like, oh my God, like I did everything for her and look what she did. Like I gave her the best life she could, or him, the best life that they have ever had. And then look what they did to me, treated me like crap. And they're gonna vomit all the stuff that they did to you onto you and smear your name and tell everybody. And they're not gonna be like, oh, and I was bad. They might say something like, it was both of us, but most of the time they're blaming you. They're blaming you because they need to feel okay about it. And then they have a replacement and they've moved on. And they will project onto the next person all these wonderful, beautiful traits that you had, and make that person believe that that's who they are. So even the next person is getting this massive dose of love bombing because you, example, like if you are somebody who likes to leave notes around the house and you want to make that person feel happy during the day at different times, and even in their pockets or something like that, and they find this super nice note or whatever, you better believe that in the next relationship, they are taking your traits and projecting it outward onto the next person, and the next person is getting lots of love notes that you never got. You gave them, but you never got them. All your traits. If you were somebody who wanted to travel and liked to travel and planned things and wanted to do all these wonderful things with your narcissist, they weren't doing them with you, but you were always working so hard and doing so much for the narcissist, hoping that they were going to do something nice for you too, to make you feel special as well. Because we do come from kind of the same backgrounds. We just took on different traits and how we handled our feelings and emotions. And so you want to feel loved and cared for and admired and stuff too. But you are always working for it and trying, to do all these wonderful things for somebody in hopes that they will do something back for you as well. But the narcissist knows that. And so in the beginning, you get a lot of that, but then they start to devalue you, and they don't give you what you want, or they'll give you a little bit and then they'll take and give you, take, give you, take. And then you get trauma bonded to them, where you feel like you need them and you don't really understand why, because you're like, wow, he treats me so bad, or she treats me so bad. Why do I stay? I don't understand why I stay. But it is like psychological abuse. And they know that if they can get a hold of your mind, so it's not necessarily the heart, if they know if they can control that, then they have you. And they believe that they own you at that point. You are theirs, their property. You are an appliance. So the next person, they are love bombing and projecting out all these beautiful, wonderful traits that you had and gave to the narcissist. And they're putting that onto this person. And you are going, what the heck? Like, I cannot believe it. And you're feeling horrible. Like, how could they take everything I always wanted to do, everything that I did for them, and they're doing it for this person, and they're making their lives seem so happy and wonderful. And now they've just projected all their icky, ugly feelings about themselves and how they can't stand themselves and hate themselves deep on the inside anyway, on to you, because now you're starting to feel like you're unworthy. You and you may not even like yourself anymore. You start to feel so horrible, and in a sick way, this makes them feel better. They may not understand that because they may not realize that they're a narcissist, but this makes them feel better. Powerful that they can control your emotions, powerful that they can control them in every way, and powerful that they can move on from you and into another person and do the same thing with somebody else. And so projection is something that we all do, but a narcissist does it all throughout your relationship and into the next relationship and the next. It's one of their tactics. And it is a way they get control over people's emotions. Good or bad, they just want people to react. And that's what makes them feel powerful. So the best thing for us to do is to move on and not to react, and to try to learn how to get mindfulness and get control of our own emotions and learn to love ourselves again, and to understand that this was not our fault. This was something that happened to us, and we need to be able to understand why it happened to us, understand why we got into relationships like that, understand what we can do to heal, and then move forward. And then when we do, we are back to sparkling and back to the sunshine again, which is exactly what the narcissist loved about you in the first place. So don't beat yourself up too much. You're definitely a sparkly person, because that's something that they really loved about you, that hope, that love that you have, that grace that you give, that you're so forgiving, such a good person. They really did love that about you, but they also hated that about you. But now you're back to being that person again, and you can move on into a healthy relationship with another person, whether that be your friend, your family, your coworkers, your lovers, whoever it is. And this can happen to young people all the way to grown adult people, very smart people. People will say, oh, I would never allow somebody to do that to me. Trust me. It's a sneaky thing. It slides in. We think that you want to believe the best in people. You want to believe the best in people, so we project that outward and we think everybody else is just like us. But that's just not the case. There are people out there that have these disorders, and this is just who they are. And so when you see them in the very beginning, in that beautiful idealization phase, lovebombing phase, golden period, you want to believe that's who that person is, but you will fight for the rest of that relationship to get back to meeting that person again. I just want my boyfriend back. I want the person that I met, back in blah, blah, blah. What happened? Well, I just want us to get back to there. You will fight and fight and fight for that, because you have so much hope. And they know that. They know that. And that makes them feel really, really special and powerful. That you would fight to the ends of the earth for them. But they pity you and think it's pretty pathetic that you wouldn't do it for yourself in the same light. So they devalue you. And you can go through this roller coaster ride. So you can be in the idealization phase, the devaluation phase, and then the discard phase or disengagement phase, and then go right back into idealization, devalue, discard. And you can do it time and time and time again, as your narcissist is doing whatever the heck it is that they want to do, when they want to do, how they want to do, or, it's whatever they want to do. But the rules those rules do not apply to you. The narcissist is not, okay with you doing those things. They want you to sit back and wait on them and be the doormat and just wait for them to return. And they do not want to hear you complain about it, because when they come back, hey, it's idealization phase time. It's supposed to be fun time. What do you mean you want to talk about what happened 2 months ago? 2 months ago? I'm trying to have a good time with you. Stop it. Stop it. Next thing you know, You're trying to make that person be accountable. They don't want to be accountable. They're mad. There's this horrible thing. They move on. You're discarded again, and on with the cycle, time and time and time again. The pattern repeats, 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 and all the while, you are taking on these ugly, nasty, horrible traits of the narcissist, and you are becoming somebody you don't recognize anymore. And they've just dumped all these nasty traits out on to you. And then they point the finger at you and play the victim when they move on. And you are standing back going, wow, I have protected that person. Because I loved them so much and I didn't want people to think bad about them. All these things. And here I literally have had the projector turned from the narcissist on to you, and they have literally vomited all this stuff out through this projector onto you, all these horrible, nasty feelings that they feel about themselves. And now they've made you feel bad and they feel better. So that's what it looks like. I mean, we tend to project onto others too. I had somebody, this is just an example, and this is not a narcissistic person at all, but it's like, oh, I don't understand why so-and-so isn't talking to me, because what if something were to happen to me? We're in COVID and everything. What if something were to happen to me? They would regret it. They're going to regret it. They should, I'm such a forgiving person. They should be the same way. And they're projecting that outward because that's how they are. And that's understandable. And most of us are like that. But not everybody does things in the same time that we do. Everybody is different, and everybody grieves and goes through processes on their own. So if somebody's upset with you, and this is more of a healthy relationship, sometimes it takes more time for somebody else to heal. And just because we want them to do something right then and there, because it'll make us feel better, that doesn't necessarily mean that's okay for them. So we are in our feelings and how we would do things and what would make us feel better. But in those moments, that's a narcissistic trait, and we all have them. We're not really thinking about what that other person may need and the time that they may need to process things and get through a process and heal and do the things that they need to do to come back, maybe, hopefully, if it wasn't a really super toxic relationship, to make things work. So it really is in healthy relationships, when those things happen, two people take the time to get out of a toxic situation, because you cannot heal together because you're triggering each other. So you got to get out of the toxic situation, and you both go on your separate paths, and you do what you need to do to take care of you and what's going on with you and why you do certain things, and vice versa on the other side. And then two healthy people may come back together and be able to work it out. But that's never going to happen with a narcissistic person. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you will always be giving more to the narcissist. You will always be the one in the background. That you're going to do more. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. I'm not saying that you can't stay in a relationship with someone like that, but you will always be dealing with chaos and drama. I don't care what they say. They can go into therapy, they can do all these things, and they can get coping skills and mindfulness skills to try to manage it, but it's going to happen, and the narcissist is always going to need to come first. And if you have awareness of that, and the two of you can work that out, and you want to put yourself as the doormat, and that's how it's going to be. And if that is, we can all choose, but you deserve everything in life that's happy. You deserve that too. You deserve to be treated well too. And if you believe that, and you can trust that in yourself and love yourself like you would someone else, and take the time to know you and to figure out what it is that you do love and how to love yourself again, or to love yourself, period, then you may not want somebody like that. So I talk about no contact when you do leave, and all the channels. Lots of people talk about it. When you do leave the narcissist, or the narcissist leaves you and it's time for you to move on, unless you do no contact and full no contact and understand exactly what that means. And a lot of people do not know what that means. So it's really important to pay attention to that. If you Google it or you watch one of my videos or somebody else's videos, pay attention to what no contact really is if you really are wanting to get out. If you do decide to leave on your own, it is not a good idea to tell your narcissist. It is not a good idea to call them a narcissist, because they're just going to up their game and then make sure that they smear you with everybody else and call you a narcissist first, while you're back protecting them and not telling people what's really going on behind the closed doors. And so they are going to make sure they get in there first. So I wouldn't do that, and just protect yourself. Make your plans. Don't tell anybody what they are, and then make your getaway. Because when you are leaving a narcissist, you could be putting yourself in serious danger, even if you don't think that they would hurt you. So you can think of like shows like Snapped or something like that. I don't know, but you need to protect yourself. And so that is something that I do not recommend. A lot of people want to do it, want revenge. I know you're upset when you're going through these type of relationships, but I'm telling you, it's best to just walk away, not worry about what's going on with the narcissist, and take that time to love you and do all those wonderful, sweet things to you. Write yourself some notes, stick them around the house, give yourself some reminders in your pocket, and tell yourself some really nice things. You know, I'm feeling really good today. I'm so happy. I'm pretty. I'm fun. I'm lovable. I'm successful. All the I ams and all the things. Tell yourself those things, and go out and get yourself some things that you wanted that the narcissist didn't give. If it was something like flowers, and you know the narcissist never gave you flowers, then you know what? Your kitchen table will look beautiful with those flowers that you go and get yourself. I do that for myself. I go to the farmer's market here where I live, and I go and get flowers. They have beautiful flowers, and they're not super expensive, and I give myself flowers now. And so you can send yourself a card, or write yourself a card, or go and get yourself a manicure, or go and get your hair done, or go and have lunch with your friends. Whatever it is, read a good book, have an afternoon to yourself. Do those things that you wanted to do with the narcissist. Do them with a friend, do them with yourself, but you can make those things happen. So don't let the narcissist project all that ugly, ooey, gross stuff off onto you, and you go on living the rest of your life depressed, worrying about the narcissist and what the narcissist said and how it rang over and over and over and over and over again in your head. You might have to retrain the brain and believe that you deserve happiness too. Until next time, you take care of yourself. Bye. All the technical difficulties I'm having. Yikes.